Welcome to Bigger Than You, the podcast to help you go from overwhelm, self-doubt and scarcity in your business to the calm, grounded and unshakably confident version of you that's going to bring your vision to life. You've got a mission and a purpose that's bigger than you and your limiting stories and beliefs. So let's get you out of your own way. I'm Jenna Holloway, your host and multi-award-winning intuitive hypnotherapist and mindset coach. Expect to hear game-changing perspective shifts on how to align your subconscious mind with your boldest goals, and will unlock the power of energetics, infusing it into every aspect of your life and business for maximum impact. Are you ready? Then let's dive in. Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'm really excited. Oh my goodness, I realise I'm in such an autopilot mode. I don't need to start the podcast like that at all. I'm going to be real with you. I'm excited to have this conversation. I love being on the podcast. I love my solo episodes. I love my guest episodes. But window into my world right now, I'm really tired. And so yeah, I'm excited, but if ever I was in the energy of I've just got to record the episode because it has to be ready to go live tonight, yeah, I'm in that space, and that's okay. That's totally okay. I don't have a problem with showing up authentically and sharing a window into my world. That's what I'm all about, right? So if you're quite new to the podcast or new to me, I have 5-year-old twins. And one of them was not very well in the night. So I really they don't sleep in our bed and I don't sleep in their bed. But when they're ill, then I do, because I hate the thought of, my girls being alone when they're ill. So spent the night in the top bunk of one of my daughter's beds. And very tired today. So that's okay though. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I can show up like this, and that's fine. I don't put pressure on myself to, be perfect or anything other than just who I am in my business, and that feels good. That feels easeful, right? And it's great to be in that place, because otherwise I would just be, telling myself a story in my mind that, well, I'd just be making it so much harder for myself, and I don't. So that's good. There's another thing I wanted to share with you. Oh yeah, so generally my work time today, this is my first day back at work because the girls have been on half term. So this is my first time to properly work in the business in over a week, and I've got a lot to do, and I was really excited about just cracking on. I'm building up to a launch. There's a lot of things to do, and most of it went on the back burner last week because I like to be really present when my girls are off school and, spend as much time with them as I can. So yeah, I was really excited to get to work today, but the reality is I'm really tired. So I've not been as focused as perhaps I would have, as I know I would have been if I'd slept all through the night. But here is where my mindset piece comes in. And that is that I really fully trust in everything happening exactly as it needs to in the right time. And so I'm not sitting here telling myself a story that I am behind, or that I'm not going to get where I want to be, or I'm not going to, the outcomes are not going to be right because I haven't done as much work as I wanted to today. Bollocks to that. That's just an unhelpful narrative to be going on in your mind. I work my business from a place of ease, and so I really fully believe that everything is always working out for me, and I can just live my life and show up from that place. A mantra that me and my clients have is, how can we let this be easy? And that is literally being asked all the time in my business. So I'm letting this be easy by showing up and sharing this with you. And if you want to be able to run your business from a place of real, true ease, especially if you have a family or, commitments in your life outside of your business, and you don't want your business to be taking up the whole of your headspace, then you really want to be coming to my masterclass that I'm holding at the end of the month. So let me just plug that for a second. In that masterclass, it's called Becoming a Match. It's a 2-day event, and it's not going to be one of those, standard masterclasses where coaches tell you the what and then you're supposed to like figure it out or invest to get like the true transformation or whatever. No, I'm actually going to be really bringing a really high level, high value experience to this free masterclass, because I want you to feel exactly what it is like to work with me. And then obviously those of you who want to can jump in with the offer that I share in the masterclass, and those of you who don't, you will get a lot of value purely by showing up for that 2-day masterclass. So that is called Becoming a Match, or Become the Match. It's on the 28th of Feb and the 1st of March at 1 p.m. UK time. I'm going to drop the link to sign up in the show notes. Or if you're watching this on IG Live, then just DM me masterclass and I will share the link with you. So what we're answering today. So I had very good boundaries over the weekend just gone. There were loads of posts going up in the Grounded Wealthy Woman membership. This is my membership that I have for clients who want like a really low ticket way of getting mindset support in their business. So they were showing up in there over the weekend, celebrating themselves, asking for support. And one of the questions that got asked, I thought, oh, do you know what? That's a really good question to bring to the podcast. And as I didn't have anything lined up, I thought, you know what, I'm going to answer that on Monday. So this question is coming from one of my membership members. I'm going to read it out and then I'm going to riff on it for you. So it's about goals. Okay. So the question says, I've never really liked targets within anything, as I feel disappointment if I don't achieve them. So I don't tend to set them, and it's never really caused me a problem. I more or less like to wing it, so to speak. What is your take on this, Jenna? And she's referring to a previous Q&A that I did on the private podcast, when she said one of the ladies mentioned pressure of the outcome being something that is stopping her. And this totally resonated with me. As I said, I've previously lost the joy in what I do. And I feel that that is partly because I put a lot of pressure on myself before. So she's asked me, what's my take on winging it? And how would you approach targets? She says, are they beneficial or do they just add additional pressure? Should I try and get on board with them or concentrate on enjoying what I'm doing? And like you say, Jenna, the clients and the money is just a bonus. I'm really conflicted. So let's get into it then. First of all, from a brain perspective, targets are fantastic because targets are programming your brain with what you want, right? If you imagine that your brain is a car, without targets, your car is just driving around aimlessly with no destination. When you set a target, it's like plugging in to the GPS system or Google Maps or whatever. It's like plugging in a destination, right? You are setting a direction for your brain. So think of it as your subconscious is literally the creator of your life. It's the creator of your reality because it is showing you things, right? Your subconscious is experiencing and deciding everything for you. Your subconscious literally takes what's going on around you, it takes it all in, and it distorts, deletes, and generalizes information before you consciously receive part of that information, right? You get to receive a tiny part of it. So it chooses what comes to your conscious mind. So what you need to do then what you need to think about with targets is, if you set a target, then it becomes relevant to your subconscious mind. Okay, and what that means is it goes on what I like to describe as a filter. It goes on the filter. Okay, so from that point onwards, once you've set that target, it's on the filter. And so your subconscious carries on filtering everything that's going on around you all of the time. It's filtering it to show you what's relevant. Now, if you've set a target or you've decided what you want, then it's relevant because it's on the filter. And if you hadn't set that target, then it wouldn't be on the filter. So you wouldn't get a nudge or a thought or an idea that's relevant to lead you to how to get that target, how to make that target your reality. You wouldn't get those nudges if you hadn't set the target in the first place. So 100% setting targets is a great idea. But where people come unstuck is their mindset around targets. Okay, because targets give you the direction. And without the targets, you don't have the direction. You will just, what's the word? Yeah, you will just wing it, and you'll achieve some things, but you won't necessarily achieve what you want to achieve. And on this podcast, I really like to speak to my ideal client. And I know that there'll be other people listening that aren't quite my ideal client, but let me be really clear here. My ideal client has huge goals for herself or himself, right? They know what's possible and they have a vision. Now, you can have a vision and then have a crappy mindset around targets and so therefore not set your targets. And then that keeps you away from being able to achieve your vision, because it's like, it's like saying you're getting in the car. It's like, I'd love to drive to Scotland, but they're not programming the GPS. If you're anything like me, I would never get to Scotland in my car if I didn't program the GPS, even though it's pretty obviously just north from where I am. Like, you still need to program the GPS, right, with the targets. So, yeah, you've got these huge goals, but by setting targets, you're giving yourself, your subconscious, that direction, and it's a subconscious that is going to support you to get there step by step, okay? So what we really need to work on then is our relationship with these targets and our mindset around them. Okay, so here is why I talk about the concept of neutrality, because when the person that asked this question, she said she felt disappointment when she didn't achieve the targets. So when you feel anything that's less than positive or negative, that is an opportunity for you to kind of look within and see what's going on there. So when you feel disappointed that you haven't reached a target, what I would then say is to ask yourself, what are you making it mean about you that you didn't reach that target? Because that's key. When you realize that, you can then change the narrative, because it doesn't mean what you're making it mean. It's neutral, right? Everything in life, everything that is happening in our external reality is neutral. Okay, it's not positive, it's not negative, it's neutral. It's our brain, our subconscious, that makes meaning out of the things in our external reality. Okay, so what we want to achieve, like one of the most important skills I would say to have as a business owner is to be able to master neutrality. Being neutral when what looks like a setback or a disappointment is happening, when you can get to a place where you really genuinely not only know it's neutral, but actually feel in your body that it's neutral, and you are just taking it as feedback rather than being emotionally bruised or embarrassed or hurt or ashamed or whatever those heavy emotions are that pull you back and feel really, really heavy. When you can just take that heavy emotion out of it, and I'm not saying it's easy, but when you can get to a place where you feel that neutrality, regardless of what's happening in your external reality, that's when you become truly unstoppable as a business owner, okay? And in order to be able to feel detached from these targets, you have to have that skill of being neutral, okay? So we're talking about neutrality, but we are also talking about setting huge targets, huge goals, but detaching from that. Now, why is that important? If you think about it, everything is energy. And when we get fixated on a particular goal, and very often, because we're programmed to make such a big deal out of time, very often when we are setting our targets, we are setting them with a deadline, right? I have to achieve this in my business by this date, or I'm going to feel like a failure, or whatever it is. When we set that kind of target with a mindset that will not allow us to detach, we feel that pressure, right? And whenever there's pressure on us in our business, we're putting it, well, as a business owner, we put pressure on ourselves, right? Like 99% of the time, it's us putting the pressure on ourselves. And when we experience that pressure, that feels heavy, and that makes it so much harder than it needs to be. So when you can take the pressure off and release that and detach from the outcome, detach from the target itself, that frees you up. Energetically, it frees you up, okay? And that's really, really important. When we are too attached to an outcome happening, we basically hold that outcome at arm's length, because when we are attached to the outcome, when we're not detached, what we are is we are in the energy of lack, okay? And lack only gets more lack. Lack moves get lack results, okay? And when you are in lack, you are basically just holding your goals and your targets and the things that you want to achieve at arm's length. You are not welcoming them in, all right? You can only ever be into one of two energies, an energy of lack or contraction, or going backwards or going forwards, being expansive, being in alignment, being detached, okay? And so the mindset to have around your goals and around your vision is to 100% get to a place where it's not a question of if you're going to achieve the thing that you see in your mind's eye. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, okay? And this is also related to the concept of time that I talk about quite a lot as well. And that is, when my clients first come to work with me, they often feel like they're running out of time, or they never have enough time, or they're constantly in a rush, or, like just a frantic, sort of chaotic energy in their business. Is that, again, there's lack underneath that relationship with time. And what I do through the subconscious reprogramming and that sort of deep mentorship work, week in, week out, is to get them to a place where time supports them and they never ever feel like they're running out of time, because they fully trust in divine timing, right? It's one thing to know about the concept of divine timing, or the fact that you're always being supported and all those things. It doesn't matter if you intellectually know that. It doesn't matter if you can't feel it, right? We have to be able to feel these things as humans, right? If our emotions are in a place of lack, but intellectually we can get our thoughts out of lack, we can reframe our thoughts and get them out of lack, that's a surface level fix, and it's not going deep enough. We have to be able to get our nervous system there too, okay? Because that's the energy that we are giving off. We're not giving off with our reframed thoughts. If we can't feel it in our body, it's not enough. So we have to be able to feel secure with time. We have to be able to feel secure with the concept of things happening for us, and trusting the process, trusting the universe, trusting our lessons, because our human brain will set ourselves a target and will want us to achieve something by a certain deadline. But if there are lessons that we need to learn before we are at a place where we can be in alignment with that goal, then we're not going to reach that goal until we've learned those lessons, right? So this is where it comes so useful to have a mindset of, why is this happening for me? What am I supposed to learn here? What is the growth opportunity here? Because when you have that mindset, you can learn that level, you can learn that lesson, you can up level, you can grow and be ready, right? If you are not at a place where you are ready to hold the thing that you want to achieve, right? You have to have space for it. You have to, subconsciously and energetically open your arms up to it. Otherwise, it's not going to come in. We have to have space, right? And if you think, if you can't feel these things in your body and your mindset is constantly in a place of lack, that's like having all of your arms full with so much stuff and wanting the universe to drop in something else. But the universe is not going to drop in something else unless your arms are like free and open and like up to the sky, say, yes, please, bring it on. No, right? You have to create the space for it in order for it to come in. Okay? So, I would say then, that's how I approach targets. I set massively big targets, like incredibly big targets, because I have the right mindset around them. Like, I'm not gonna make it mean anything about me if I don't achieve them. I'm just like, right, I just, think, right, okay, divine timing is at play here, and when the time is right, as long as I'm taking action, right? There is a misconception here. There's a lot of noise in sort of the manifestation space, where you just like set your target and you just sit back and you open your arms, it's going to drop in your lap. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to take the action too. Okay, and that's why I've designed my Powerhouse Portal program to not just be about the inner work. It's so much more than that. It's about doing the inner work as the things crop up, shifting the blocks as and when they come up. But the number one thing about Powerhouse Portal is that we are day in, day out taking action from our higher self, right? We are embodying the Becoming a Match framework day in, day out. That's how you get your big goals. That's how you get your big goals to come into your reality. The minute you desire something, the universe says yes, but it's not going to come into your life until you create space for it. And you will only create space for it when you are the energetic match for it. Okay? So when you work with me in Powerhouse Portal, in my one-to-one space, it's not just about saying, hey, look, let's take 6 months and do all of the inner work and all of the healing and, pick your business back up in 6 months' time. Like, no, right? You have big goals that you want to achieve. So let's get to work doing the things that you need to do to create those goals and make it happen. And I am there to shift and I help you unlearn, like subconsciously reprogram anything that is not supporting you to get there, so that you get there so much faster. Okay? So let me just touch on masculine and feminine energy here. And that question actually, we talked about this in Powerhouse Portal last week, about the balance between masculine and feminine energy. Because, and that's another thing, masculine energy gets a really bad rep, and that's because most people are going about their masculine activities, like the action taking, basically. If you kind of unfamiliar with the concept of masculine energy, it's like the taking the action, right? Most people, not most people, I'm not going to say that, but a lot of business owners who are struggling with ease and flow and struggling to create their success from a place of ease are doing it because they've been conditioned to subconsciously believe that it takes hustle, right? And action taking from a place of unsustainable push in their business in order to achieve what they want to achieve. And actually that is not masculine energy at all. Like I said, it's toxic. The healthy masculine energy is taking action, but not from a place of push, right? You want to find the beautiful, perfect balance between masculine and feminine energy. The feminine is the intuition, the nudges from the higher self that are going to get you to your goal as quickly as you can, like, in the fastest possible timeline. Like, the intuition is not logical, right? It's random, but it gets you there fast because it's never ever wrong. But you can't, like, feminine is about, the flow and the intuition, but the masculine is, okay, taking that intuition and going and implementing it, right? You have to have both. So I like to think of, and also masculine energy is about the target setting and the strategy, right? You can't have a wildly successful business just using feminine energy, all right? It's like trying to say that you're going to drink 2 liters of water a day, without a bottle that's gonna support you to drink throughout the day. It's like expecting to only it's like only being able to drink when you're at the tap. But actually, the masculine, like this analogy, is that the masculine thing is the container, right? The container to hold your feminine energy. So it takes both. It takes the strategy, but it also takes the flow and the intuition. So in summary, get on board with targets. I would absolutely say get on board with them. But this time, and the thing I say to my clients all the time is every single day you have the opportunity to be a completely new person, right? The only reason you get stuck in your holding patterns and your self-sabotage and your lack energy mindset and your lack energy thoughts, the only reason you get stuck there is because those neural pathways are strong, because you've thought those things and done those things many, many, many times before. But that doesn't mean to say that you have to do them again, right? From listening to this podcast, you get to choose a different way. And it takes self-awareness, because you will absolutely find yourself doing old action, past self type actions and sabotagey type activities. Of course you will, because 95% of what we do is done on autopilot. But when you get clear on observing yourself and catching yourself and raising your self-awareness, you can course correct in any given moment. And this is exactly what I'm going to be really going deeper on in the masterclass, Become the Match. And I really want to give like a Powerhouse Portal type experience. So it's going to be a 2-day masterclass. And I would love for you to be there. If you found this episode helpful, you will absolutely find the Become the Match masterclass helpful, because we're going to be going deeper and I'm going to be showing you how and give you that transformative experience. Never done this kind of thing outside my client spaces before. Never done it for free. So, and I think once it's done, it will convert into a paid training. So sign up, basically. Take your chance to sign up while it is free. Link is in the show notes. Come grab yourself a spot. It doesn't matter if you can't be there live. Ideally be there live, but if you've got something planned, then the replay will be sent out too. So 100% set yourself the targets, but don't make meaning out of if it doesn't look like it's going to happen. This is another thing. For example, I am going to be promoting my masterclass every single day between now and when I do it, but I'm not going to be telling myself a story if I'm not getting many sign-ups, because that's going to weigh me down, and I'll be making meaning out of things. And just no, okay? When you are a long way away from a timeline, or when you're a long way away from running a masterclass, for example, it's human nature to see the date and be like, oh yeah, well, I'll sign up for that later. Or it's human nature to need to see things loads and loads of times before you take action. So guys, when you are trying to sell, or when you are trying to promote something, stop making meaning if it looks like nothing is happening. Stop making meaning out of that and just keep going. That's how you have the resilience to keep going no matter what, right? Keep selling, keep promoting, keep going. Whatever it is you're struggling with, ask yourself, what am I making meaning out of this? What am I making this mean about me? And then clear that, right? Re-empower yourself, get out of lack, get into a place where you feel empowered. Because if you've got a mission and you know that you're here to do big things, then you're not ever running out of time. And every single minute you get the choice to choose differently, and you can do that. Okay, so really, really take on board the things that I've shared here, and see if you can find yourself a tangible example where you can do things differently based on what I've shared in this episode. And I would love for you to share it with me. Come and DM me. That would be amazing. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. Whether I send an email out and I get a reply, or message on my stories, or comment about the episode that you hear. Like, it means so much, when you put so much into the podcast or content creation or whatever it is. It means so much when you hear from like an invisible listener. You're invisible, right? You're just a number until you reach out and just say, hey, I got so much from this episode. Or even if you've got a question, it's really great to hear from you guys, because otherwise you are literally just a number. And I know that's not the case, but as a podcast host, that's all you see. So yes, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the Bigger Than You podcast. Don't forget to follow and subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. And by the way, Bigger Than You wants to grow massively this year, and for that, I'm going to need your help. Everyone that shares today's episode will be entered into a draw to win a free place inside Powerhouse Portal, which is my 6-month signature mindset, energetics, and subconscious mentorship program, and is a 4-figure investment. All you need to do is share this episode to your stories on Instagram, tag me at I am Jenna Holloway, and share why you loved it. See you next week.